Hey everybody, I'm Shane from Admin Arsenal. Let's set the same configuration for Java for all of our workstations in our environment. We're going to use PDQ deploy to do this. You want to customize Java. As you can see, I've just used PDQ deploy to push out Java 8 update 25 to a computer called Costanza. So we know that Java is out there in its default form. Before we go into creating a package, let me minimize this. There is 3 files that we're going to be playing with today. I've got these files located on a file share. You can see this out the path right there. Deployment.config, this is a file that's going to exist on all of your target computers that have Java. And this will simply point to deployment.properties. This will tell the computer, or more specifically, the Java runtime on all of your targets, hey, this is where you grab the custom properties for Java. I'm going to edit this real quick. You can see in the java.config, there's just 2 lines here. The first one, we literally tell them where to find the properties file. And we're going to keep this out on a network share. That way, all of our computers on the network can access this. If we ever have to change the properties, any properties in deployment.properties file, we can just do it once without having to touch every single computer. And the second line just simply says you have to run this. These configurations are mandatory. Now, if we look back at deployment.properties, now this is actually the file that this config points to, and this has our properties. Got that right here. Notice we just have a couple of Java properties. Now, how do I know what properties I can set? How do I know what the values are? Well, Google. There is a Java 8 documentation out on Oracle's site. You can see this path right here, that URL. And this literally just gives you all the configuration files, all the properties, all the information that you need. As I scroll down, you can see all of these different properties and their explanations and their valid values. So check that site out. You'll definitely want to do that because we're not going to cover all of these, not even a little bit. All right, so we've got a handful of these that we've set. I am going to also use exception sites. This basically means this is a whitelist for Java, where you specify, you keep a file. This one, you can see it's in the same location. It's centrally located via our network, a UNC path. Please notice the forward slashes, keep those. Don't use the backslashes. Use it as you see here, just change these to fit your environment. Anyway, the exception sites, it's a whitelist. This tells Java, you can see an example here. These are all the sites that run Java apps that are allowed in your environment. All right. So let's use PDQ deploy to copy the deployment.config file. I'm going to create a new command, or probably a new package, and I'm going to use a command step. So I click that little button there. I'm going to delete the default install step. We're not going to be running any install file. We're simply going to run xcopy. We're going to copy this file down to every target. Let me just go grab this path. I'm going to do a copy. If you do have spaces in your path, you're definitely going to want to use double quotes. And we want the deployment.config file. And then where does this go? Well, this goes in the Windows directory of all your computers. So we're going to do windir, that's the variable for Windows, the Windows directory. And it's going to go under Sun Java deployment. And we'll do a /i to create it if it doesn't exist, /e and a /y to force the confirmation. Perfect. That should do it. So once again, copy from this location down to the Windows directory on all of your target computers. We'll give this step a title, copy config, and let's actually change the name of our package to Java 8 config. By the way, this will work for Java 7. These configuration settings work for Java 7. So we'll save that. Now, just so we can see the before and after, kind of the Jenny Craig effect, I'm going to remote desktop Costanza. Remember, we just, before this video, we have deployed Java 8 to this computer. So there's Costanza. I'm going to go to the configure Java. You can also do this from the control panel. So there's Java. The security level is set to high. Notice there's nothing in the exceptions list. And advanced, one of the things that we're changing is the mixed code. Our configuration is going to change this to hide warning and run with protections. Just so you can see that. And just so you know, we'll show you the before and after. I'm going to come over here to IE. If your computers obviously, or all your end users are going to have to enable the Java plugin. That's just how it goes. We're going to go to javatester.org to test to see if Java is working on our computer. We're going to test this version. And this should fail. Yep, application is blocked by Java security. It's not in the exceptions list. So we'll say, okay, click error, there's the details right there. I'm going to close this, and we're going to deploy our new Java 8 config to Costanza. Obviously, there's much more efficient ways of choosing your targets rather than typing them in. If you've been using PDQ deploy, you can import computers from PDQ inventory, from Active Directory, etc. So you can just get this out to all of your computers at once. But for this example, here you go. So that was a successful deployment. I'm going to minimize this. Let's go back to, here we are. Let's go back here. Close that. Now I'm going to go back to Java configurations. Configure Java. Notice we do have those two sites that were listed in our exception sites. Those are now listed here. And the advanced, if we scroll on down, that was changed right there. Perfect. So now let's give it the acid test, or as Hawkeye would say from MASH, the Jack acid test. We're going to do javatester.org, because javatester.org was listed as one of our exception sites. You can see Java is running. Do you want to run it? Yes. And it tells us what version of Java we have, so we know that it runs. And the cool thing about this now, if you want to change any of these settings, I'm going to close that. All you have to do, once again, is come back into, let me do deployment properties, edit with Notepad, change these, add new ones, and they're going to be automatically used on your target computers. One more note, if you want to block your exception, or you want to do some basic protection, so make sure people can see this path, but they can't write to it. Only administrators should be able to write to it. And you might want to actually lock the, just a kind of a best practice exception sites. You might want to set this to read-only, and then just change that when you need to add something to it. All right, hey, that's how you do it. It's fairly simple, and you can use PDQ deploy. I'm Shane. Rock on.